Girls say that you got to be confident if you want to get good reactions with them or with their friends or with chicks in general. What the fuck is confidence? Well, by definition, confidence is when you perceive that nothing holds you back. Perceive that nothing holds you back. You don't need money or influence or looks or status to act freely. And if you can act freely, others react to you. They laugh at what you're doing. You can make mistakes. You forgive yourself. You forgive others. You're masculine. You're sophisticated. You choose what you want to do. It's like freedom of life, really. And you can share that with others and you appear to be confident. You don't see any reason why you should be held back. That's cool. So I don't talk about it as confidence because it's so confused in this modern day and age by movies, TVs, magazines, whatever. Instead, we talk about confidence as a thing called relaxed arousal. Relaxed arousal. Once and for all, everybody on the internet, everybody doing this program, understand the idea of relaxed arousal. Sure, when you go out, you feel a little bit anxious. So do I. Overwhelmed, I've just come from work, I'm inside of my head, I go to a nightclub, I feel a little bit stressed. Sure, fair enough, you're a bit anxious. Let anxiety unravel into relaxation. We can assume that you start anxious, that's fine. How does anxiety turn into relaxation? Usually it's just time. If you give yourself half an hour to an hour in a club and don't put any pressure on yourself and don't go home early and don't get too drunk, usually you're simply going to get bored. And if you're bored in a nightclub or a social situation, your anxiety fades away and you're just like, well, now I'm bored. But remember what I said before, if you're just bored, you won't take any action. If you're bored, that's a beautiful platform to take action and arouse and influence others. So when I'm in a club, I actually can kind of come into relaxation very quickly because I'm very experienced at it. And then by doing that, I need to go and approach people, fuck with people in a good way, compliment them, tease them a little bit, play games a little bit and have fun, knowing that there's no real outcome, just doing it for the sake of doing it. And that me imparting my approaches onto other people, me influencing other people, that then starts to turn me on and, surprise, surprise, it arouses the people who I'm doing it with. So that's the relaxed arousal concern. That's what confidence is, but you've got to be bored before you're confident. If you try to achieve confidence while you're anxious and you mask over it, or basically you resist and fight against your own emotions, then you're going to have extreme cognitive dissonance and it looks extremely stupid, okay? I've seen it in clubs all the time. We've got camera number 2 over here. You got guys in the club just like, stop being anxious. Stop being anxious. Pump up, pump up. Come on, pump up. Come on, high five, high five. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You just want to go home after 20 minutes, all right? I really hope I overdid that example because it's so dumb. Don't, write it down. Write this one down. Embrace whatever emotion that you're in. If you feel shit, feel shit. If you feel good, feel good. If you feel distressed, feel distressed. Say it out loud, because if you resist and combat the emotion that's going on inside of you, you'll fight it, and it's like scratching an itch with an infection. It gets worse and worse and worse. Let it naturally heal. The default state that you want to have is one of boredom. Actually, it's just chill. Chill. Relaxing, hanging out, reading a book. That's the default state. It's a little bit content, but you only really achieve happiness if you're chill, if you're content. If something good happens while you're anxious, it's hard to enjoy it, okay? If something good happens while you're chill, you can definitely enjoy it. So don't seek to be happy, seek to be chill, seek to be bored, because when you're bored, you're poised for happiness at all times. Think of it that way. So that's like the masculine state to be. You're just chilling, hanging out, enjoying life, no stress, but at a moment's notice, you could take action, protagonize or antagonize, whatever it is, antagonize the world, and then all of a sudden you've got a little smirk, okay? As soon as you start initiating things, you start to have fun, and it perpetuates itself. There's 2 huge conflicts that a lot of people talk to me about, like Anthony Robbins type followers or sports followers. They always want to be in the zone, in state, or in momentum. Let me ask you in the audience, can you lose state? Yes. Pretty easily. Can you lose relaxation? No. It's a lot harder. So if you seek relaxation, it's kind of like you get it and you stay there. If you seek state or being in the zone, you can drop out of the zone. When you're relaxed, we have what's called, write this one down, full monopolization over your emotions. Only you are controlling all of your emotions that are going on inside of you. You're not having other people freak out and trigger your emotions and upset you and have you reacting, okay? So when you're relaxed, you're monopolizing your emotions, and with that, you can use it to laugh, ask questions, challenge people, have fun, be philosophical, be silly and flippant. It could be any of those things. So state as a word in English, or pumped up or in the zone, is a bad word to use in emotional contexts where you want to reassure and connect with other people. It's good for doing something energetic, but it's bad because when you're in the zone or in state, you see reactions visually from people that you interact with, and what that does is it tends to keep you doing it, okay? Also, I don't like state being pumped up or in the zone because you're doing it out of a fear of not being good enough as you are, okay? So I'm never really worried about getting into the zone. I know that I'll probably get into the zone later when I start taking action, or if you want to call it that. I'd rather feel deeply relaxed first, just chilling, hanging with my friends, letting time go by, and not having to do anything in a nightclub. And I know that I will fall into that state of boredom. The other phrase that I really don't like is momentum. Is it easy to lose momentum? Yes, obviously, right? The other word that I want you to use in English is unwinding. Unwinding. Like comfortable. You're comfortable in a nightclub. If you go out 3 nights in a row and you've got the energy and the health to go out 3 nights in a row, I don't want you to consider that to be momentum, because the minute that you don't go out a 4th night in a row, you lose momentum. But if you go out 3 nights in a row and don't go out 2 nights in a row and you're unwound, you're unwinding, easygoing, chill, totally fine, then you don't have any internal conflict to take 2 nights off. You can just go out again. I was unwind last 3 days, unwound. I was chill, I was down to earth. I can probably go out and do it again. So you're not fighting your own emotions. And you know what? This is just English confusion based on Anthony Robbins or sports stars or football players that leads people the wrong way. But I know that when you're picking up girls, you can visually see reactions from them when you're pumped up. So when you're very calm and relaxed and bored, you're actually going to have boring looking interactions which create extremely long interactions, which is how you're going to get chicks. Du har en bra sullebrunn.
Sullebrunn.
Du har bra sullebrunn. Tan. Yeah. Mine's like real actually. Whereas
Yeah, but this one is real, but this one's not.
Okay, who's got darker face?
Yes!
Fuck. The fake always wins. The fake always wins. Of course, people always say to me, Alex, I'm not in state. Alex, I'm not in state, as though to say that they could never approach a girl right now. Let me ask you, do you know what state you're in right now? My friends from Portugal, do you know what state you're in? Are you? How do you know? How can your brain read your own behavior that accurately?
I feel comfortable.
Do you? Is it accurate?
Yes.
What if I say that you look stressed?
I
No, how do you know? I know better than you.
know. I know that.
Good. Who trained you to say that? I trained you to say that. It's good. Yeah, well done. But you know, there's the objective and the subjective. What if a doctor came in and said, yes, you look stressed? No, you're deluded. No, you're actually really relaxed. You don't really know what state you're in. And a girl approaches you. She's so stressed because of the approach, she can't tell if you're relaxed or in state either. And should you be in state or should you be relaxed? There's 3 levels to this. Should you be relaxed or in state? Who the fuck knows? Are you relaxed or in state? You don't fucking know. And how are the girls interpreting you? Are they interpreting you as relaxed or as in state? They don't fucking know. So you don't know what state you should be in, you don't know what state you're in, and they don't know what state you're in either. So who the fuck cares? Stop fucking micro-analyzing your own state and get on with it. Relax. I do like what you said though. You said, I feel relaxed, I feel good. Simplify. If you can make it simple for yourself, you can make it simple for others. We're the ones initiating the approaches here. So if we keep it simple, then we make it simple for the people that we're going up to. Imagine, to really summarize this, I want girls to feel no cognitive dissonance in you when you're interacting with them in the club. That you're at ease, it's fine, everything's fine, you're looking above the horizon. I envision, if I'm in a nightclub like Vegas where nobody knows anybody else, it's all cold approach, there's not that much table action going on, a little bit but not too much, lots of mingling, I feel like everybody else treats it like a trudge, like a hike to the top of the hill. And at the top of the hill, there's some kind of like leprechaun gold of pussy that's going to save the whole fucking world. Instead, you know what? I know that girls are lazy and girls like sunbaking, so I'm going to just lie in the mud at the bottom, be fucking lazy, take my shirt off, get my after summer fat body out, and be like, look at you fucking tryhards. I'm down here with all the girls. What the fuck are you doing up there? Running around in circles feeling bad for themselves. So don't be the guy who's like fighting his own gravity and emotions to get into some like a God-sent state that makes you good with chicks, which doesn't. Instead, relax and be lazy, and all you have to do is be able to accept that you're going to get results while you're lazy. That's the hardest part. Acceptance that you don't need to do anything when you have value to get results. We're going to start looking now a little bit graphically at some of the night, okay? We're still laying it all out, ready to give you the structure of what to do soon enough. When you go out at night, guys, in terms of energy level, it's most important that you leave the club with a girl, that you save your energy for that point in time. So if this is the night, or at least the part of the night that's in a nightclub, just get this a little bit better opacity. And that's like, 10, and that's like 2. Most girls, it's true that women and girls, or people who are like shown a good time, their energy or their mood or their positive feelings is proportionate to what's going on around them, okay? Actually, we're in London, so we'll say this is 3 a.m. 3. So as the night goes on, the girl's energy will kind of go like this. They get to an apex where they get frustrated, their feet hurt, or guys start creeping on them. Most guys who try too hard, we'll call them the green guys, they go in, super pumped up, pre-drinks, energetic, they go too hard too early, and then by the end of the night they're kind of here, they're kind of drunk, they're not feeling great. What you want to do, if you want to do things right, is you've got to realize the night doesn't end at 3 a.m. The night ends at 7 a.m. where you're having an after party, going on an instant date, or maybe even having sex. Your night needs to go something more like that, okay? Start nice and slow and build up as the night goes on. And then when it comes to what the plan is with the girls after the club, they're going to want to go with you instead of simply go home in a perfect world on a weekend where the girls aren't doing anything the next day. So don't get that pumped up too early, because it doesn't help at all when you're that energetic compared to the girls who girls actually start pretty anxious at the start of the night, self-conscious. They have something called being approached anxiety, where they look distressed to talk to any unfamiliar stimulus, okay? So be aware of that. We'll talk about the process of this a little later. One last thing about being in state. I just want to dispel this rumor once and for all. Do you know how stupid it sounds when somebody says, I'm not in state. I'm not in state, buddies. I'm not in state. I'm in my head. Do you know how fucking dumb that sounds? But equally as much, do you know what sounds even equally as bad? Is when somebody says, man, I'm super pumped up. I'm in a nightclub, super pumped up. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, oh, I'm so in state. Oh, yeah. Like, No. Chill. Relax. The most important thing is you leave with girls. You want to be a point of assurance. You don't want to be having more fun than them. You want to encourage them to have fun more so than what they're already doing. You want girls to be girls and getting pumped up and having a great time, and you be their host or someone they can rely upon. I can just whisper sweetly in people's ears like an idiot. So, go. Be free, girls. Be free. I don't want to interrupt you. I don't even know you.
Where are you from?
Stockholm. Anyway, so I want you to understand kind of conceptually the difference in anxiety between guys and girls, okay? Us who, when we're young, when we're between 20 and 30, we need to kind of fight and struggle for what we want, whereas chicks, a lot of the time socially, they really get a lot given to them. They have a lot of bad expectations as well, but they also get a lot given to them. So imagine kind of a lifespan. I always thought about it this way. and this will make sense later on in the program. My little cousins, who are guys, they were born kind of like obnoxious and belligerent. Low anxiety. Over here, anxiety levels. Over here, timeline, like 30 years old or something. So young guys are kind of born belligerent, and then when we go to school, when we get regimented, when we get told what to do, anxiety levels go up because we need to fit into society, make our own way in life or whatever. Then we have enough anxiety to keep us in place, but enough anxiety to kind of keep us in place in a comfort zone. It's like, don't stand out too much, you know better than anybody else, that kind of thing. And that is a comfort zone that really subdues a lot of people. Whereas chicks, what I noticed with my cousins when they're young, is they start like kind of self-conscious and self-aware, but as they reach their teen years, they're like, you can have everything you want. You're always forgiven. You can date anyone you want, you can go to any party you want, drinks are free, you look amazing, cool. So their anxiety level goes to nothing, right? Goes down low. So when approaching girls in her 20s, the anxiety level's a lot higher, and she's kind of like silly, like, I'm free, I can do what I want. And you're like, I don't know what I should do. So it makes it really fucking hard. Of course, sometimes if you're super drunk, or like you're having a great time on the day, or you just happen to be having a really good night, on that night you could be like in the zone compared to them. But, you know, an alpha male, he would always kind of, or like the quarterback at school, or the jock, or a guy who's always just a natural, he never really gets conditioned, and he stays as the alpha all the way through. Now back to the rite of passage. We have these young years in our life where we're very regimented, we're very self-aware, or whatever. With the rite of passage, we spend some like formative, like teenage years with anxiety, okay? Don't fuck up, don't get left behind, or whatever. Then comes the great trial. You're put to the test. For example, the 4-week natural program, or maybe you go and climb Mount Everest. Maybe you go backpacking for a year. Maybe you do somebody else's course. Maybe you go to university and become a doctor. These are senses of rites of passage. And what they do is they raise your anxiety way up, almost to what's called an indifference threshold, a breaking point, all the way up there. What you consider to be the highest point of anxiety that you've encountered. The problem is then, a lot of guys will get up a little bit higher, but then come back down. They'll let their anxiety come back down to comfort zone, okay? They'll feel the pressure, but they won't do any more. On the program, some of you guys would feel the pressure, be like, no more pressure. My job as the mentor on the program, or doing this video with you now, is to hold you accountable to do more. Approach more girls, more sophisticated interactions. The best way to face your own anxiety in this day and age is 4 times rule re-approaching. If you can do that, you're going to feel huge anxiety, but I guarantee it's probably going to go extremely well, and you're going to prove to yourself and the girl that you can handle it. What happens then? Everyone has their own sense of a rite of passage. It's like a cliff. It's like, I don't give a fuck about anything anymore. And then, at the age of 20 or 23 or whatever it might be, then you're back again to having lower anxiety than the girl. And now I'm like 27. I roll up on any chick and I just look her square in the eye and I'm like, try me. Go ahead, see what you can fucking do. And it's game on and it's chemistry, and men and women go together. I look at these beta males who are still up here, who haven't challenged themselves properly, and I'm like, good luck, buddy, taking me on so I can kind of like shadow lord them. So understand the way that this naturally works. There's other things like that. There's other dynamics to it as well. But chicks are quite simple in social conditioning. Over time, as they get to 30, their anxiety rises, but in their early 20s, they're like perfect, okay? It's quite likely that all of us in like 24, 25, 26, if you're taking action in life, then you're going to come to a stage where you feel like you've proven something to yourself. You've had enough, you don't give a fuck, you fall off the cliff edge, and you're free to act. Do you guys feel like that after the month? Yeah, absolutely. They're like, yes, don't push me anymore. I'm done, motherfucker. Who's got the best game? Laith? Good, exactly. Better than me? Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's how I need you to think. Good stuff. Just to summarize it one last time, confidence. doesn't come from the acquisition of skills, power, money, or whatever. It comes from letting go of things. It comes when nothing holds you back. It comes when you no longer have high levels of anxiety, when the anxiety level goes down to nothing. And you could even say that being cool is having zero anxiety towards anything. No people, no money, no situations. It's when you're confident in so many different situations that it appears that your contextual confidence in all those situations melds together and becomes core confidence, okay? You're just confident everywhere. We call it relaxed arousal because it's easier to functionally understand. You start anxious, you get bored, and you express yourself and arouse yourself, and that's not being pumped up or being happy. It's like a baseline chill state where you control your emotions and you control your expression, and you can share that onto others in a fun, good, and leadership way that should inspire compliance.
I recently did a trip where I got to be a model, which is fun. I'm like a photographer normally, but I got to be in a modeling car, and they chose me because I'm short, because then it makes the car look bigger.
Self-amusement time. I know a little bit about that shit. Let's go. Let's fucking be self-amusing cunts. The next thing we're going to start talking about is interacting with chicks. So many guys think that they can control chicks or make them do what they want to do, right? I want to make her call me. I want to make her come home with me. I can't control her attention. I can't keep her attention. I hear this stuff all the time, and it's really not good, okay? A lot of guys as well, they think of interacting with chicks as like a cost-benefit analysis, all right? They're very analytical. With everything else in life, with your finances, where you live, where you study, whatever, you can be cost-benefit. You can be analytical. It's kind of fun as well. You feel really intelligent to analyze things and make conclusions because of it. But in this area of your life, you cannot control human beings. You cannot control them. You can only inspire them. You can't sell yourself to others, and you can't sell women into sex slavery, but you can draw them in. You can market yourself in such a way that they're inspired to want to spend time with you. So don't control chicks. Try to inspire them. With control, it implies that you do something, they fall under control, and you're done. With inspiration, with marketing, think about Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nike, or Apple. While they're continually managing their brand and keeping it fresh and refreshing it, that keeps you engaged as a customer. If they stop marketing themselves, you disengage and away you go. So between men and women, think of it like marketing. If you're always expressive, telling your story, sharing yourself, and having fun without any need for connection or any rapport from the chick, if you don't ask anything from the chick, then she's going to be drawn in. It's like drawn into the energetic, glowing thing. It's as simple as that. When we talk about not controlling girls, but rather inspiring them, the catchphrase that we used originally for that was expression, not impression. And if you want to get diagrammatical with that one, you can tell if somebody is managing their impression when they're interacting with a chick, because they're either trying to sell them on an idea, like, I'm cool, I know people, I go to cool clubs, do you like me? Or you'll see defensiveness in their eyes with extreme self-awareness, worried about being judged. Like, please don't call me out, don't challenge me, don't check on me. You'll see it in their eyes. Whereas somebody who's expressive, and here's a fucking magical skill that'll change all of your games, everyone watching this on the cameras overnight, to express, not impress, to share yourself and not need anything back and not worry how it comes across. I mean, if you run a marketing campaign for Nike, you can't really accurately control the results. When you're talking to a girl and you want to ensure that you're expressing yourself, say something and look into space. Okay? Make a stupid joke and laugh at yourself. Be like, yeah, good, awesome. Say something self-deprecating. Say a neg to the chick. Be like, you're disappointing. Yeah. Look in the distance. And she's going to feel like there's no way that he's trying to control my reaction to him. So if you can simply not look at the girl's reaction, if you can look away, you'll stop analyzing her results. Remember, you are enough. That's the first premise of the entire game. You are enough, so you can say anything, just as long as it's not distasteful or fucking rude. Express it and apologize for it. Keep the set going on, bubbling along.
Jag är mycket bra i svenska.
Yeah. Pretty.
In terms of the structure of like a pickup and going out at night, in a social place, you actually cannot achieve anything. You can't achieve that the girl is going to fall in love with you, give you a phone number, have sex with you or whatever, okay? So with that, when you think about that, when you philosophize about that, when you try to keep her attention, you realize the truth is that it cannot be done. And even if you have some of her attention, it's always going to be heavily divided by her prior priorities. Maybe she's going to enjoy meeting a new guy, and maybe she does want to sleep with you, but she has to balance you among so many other things that she's got going on. It's not a big deal, but you need to accept that. So I want to always make that point that by thinking that you can control a girl in front of you, by approaching the game and approaching pickup with women and thinking, I want her, you might as well believe in like African American slavery or sex slavery out of Eastern Europe. You are really going to be like thinking that evil, because what happens if you can't control chicks and they don't come under your control, the kind of frustration that it gives you is so fucked up that it's really going to upset you and make you then try to control them more and then more spiteful and then more combative. So now that you know, I want you to make harmony with the fact that you can't control people or their results, or things can look good and they turn out bad or whatever. All that you're left with is actually freedom. Because you're there, you're stuck on your own. You have freedom from outcome because you can't assess or set a goal for an outcome. You can't do that. There is no management of that. You can try, you can hope, but you can't set it that way. You're liberated. It's like a weight off your shoulders. If you had an expectation to get a phone number, to front door somebody, to take somebody home, to keep somebody's attention, it's so shifting, and it will inevitably make you feel so inconsistent with your game that you'll actually get inside of your head, get distressed, get anxious, go home early and be self-defeating. So what happens is this beautiful dynamic, inspirational dynamic, self-amusement, is when you let go of all of that, you're stuck with yourself and your freedom. And what does a guy do when he's only got himself and he's free? He has to amuse himself. He's fucking bored. If you can't control anybody else, if you can't expect anything from anybody else, if you don't possess anybody else, then all you can do is basically please yourself. And it's beautiful because you go in the club and you act like a massive moron, and that in turn, that extreme expression draws people in like glow beetles. What are they fucking called?
Glowworms.
Not glowworms, the ones that fly around. Fireflies. Do fireflies get drawn to a flame? No, they just, damn it. Oh, that would have been such a good metaphor. When you're that expressive, you draw attention magnetically, just magically, just by the way that you are.
Notice the way this girl to my left, that her feet are pointing at me. Notice that? Yeah. She wants back. She wants back in the action. What's going on?
You're never looking to try to control people. You never have that anxiety or that expectation. And they just see you almost like dinosaur vision. It's like, it's moving. Go towards it. Yay! They can kind of like tap into the good energy and be an extension of it. Think of like a DJ in a nightclub, or watch these videos I'm about to show you. I have a present for you. There you go, have a vodka kiss.
I like you.
Happy birthday, motherfucker! Going there, you're going there. Stand up, up, stand up there. There you go.
What the fuck, man?
Dude, I think the plan, I ordered a drink.
No, I
Fuck. So here's a range, a collection of some of the behaviors, and they're completely absurd, no doubt. A lot of the stuff that I do to keep myself entertained, never at the expense of others. Never. I'm very aware to never hurt people, put them down, put them off, degrade them or whatever. Okay, maybe I might joke about it just a little bit, but never at the expense of others. Can be at the expense of myself. To inspire people and draw people in with a simple principle of energy and positivity and inspiration. You know what? Look, use me for my voice box and I'll use you for your vagina.
Oh my God.
Are you hungry? Yeah, you're hungry. What's for dinner? Australian accent.
What the fuck, man?
Hey, learn science, accents, and love. When you make the shift to pure expression and no expectation, you have all the rights to your actions, but zero rights to compliance, at least in the Western world. So when you pour 100% effort into your actions, how you express yourself, how you share yourself with the world, how you present yourself, it's a very fulfilling thing to know that you're going around the club not knowing exactly what reactions you're going to get, but having full pride in the way that you interact with others and share yourself to others. What we're talking about here is kind of known as like pickup artistry. But there's no cost-benefit analysis when it comes to art, right? So if you go into an art gallery, there's all these different paintings on the wall. And if I was to ask if I lined up all the painters and I asked them who here is the best artist, what would they say?
I am.
They'd all say, I am. Okay, what is the best art? Who the fuck knows? Four guys in the front row, who here is the best with chicks?
I am.
I am. All of you are, right?
My game's a 10.
Nope. Your game's like better than a 10 because other people have 10 game. That's like 10 out of 10 is what you're saying. No, you've transcended that, motherfucker. You're not in the decimal point system anymore. Okay, that was like 9 years ago with Flawless Natural, bro. Like, come please, right? Now you're here, social encrypted. So when you're expressing yourself, it's a different version of perfect. Different version of perfect, different version of perfect. You're just art on a wall, okay? It doesn't matter how it comes out, but it is stimulating. Keep painting and you'll keep being engaging. Keep marketing and you'll keep people engaged. In the relationship, keep fucking around, having a good time, expressing yourself and challenging yourself, and you'll keep the relationship going. And of course, if you really make harmony with the idea that you can't control other people, then you inevitably come to the conclusion that you may die alone. And that's kind of a sombering thought, but as a strong, will-powered individual, you have to accept the fact that you will die alone because you can't expect a human being to be in your life. You can't control a human being to be in your life, which shifts your focus to be incredibly appreciative and grateful to have people close to you. You never take them for granted and you never expect anything of them, which actually it makes it that much better when somebody does something sweet or affectionate for you because you never expected it in the first place. So it's good when you are happy with the idea of dying alone. When you say to your girlfriend, I love you, but of course I can't control you. Girlfriend, you're a free spirit and I want you to be happy. She's going to feel so liberated, zero pressure, that she can relax that much more, to love you that much more, to make the relationship that much stronger, okay? So if you verbalize it to chicks that they are free, that you can't control them, then they feel that much more drawn to you because there's no expectation. That being the case, how the fuck do you conduct yourself in a nightclub? If you can't control people, if you're most likely not going to pull a one-night stand every night you go out, why don't you give up before you even try? Why don't you just give the fuck up? Remember us on the last night in wherever at Bon Bon Air? Just losing our minds, like giving up, spraying each other, throwing ice everywhere, knocking people over. Best night ever. That's like the most attractive that we've been and the least effort that we put into it. It's so good, okay? So give up before you've started and all of a sudden you'll access this freakish level of expression and game that's magnetically attractive. Speaking about attraction, I want to talk a little bit about the good old-fashioned attraction equation. I used to use this all the time, to explain attraction. Two things that I want to show you here. Like, you want to attract girls so you can get more action, have more fun, date more chicks, whatever. Here is how you can think about it. Don't use the word attraction when you're looking at a girl in front of you. Don't ask yourself, is she attracted to me? Ask yourself, am I arousing her? Am I arousing her? And it looks like this. It's made up of two things. A means arousal. Arousal equals being of value plus minus a full range of emotions to the power of infinity. This is how I used to think about it. Good old graph. Not high value, but of value, okay? You're not high value, you're regular. And as a function of time spent together, your value is shown to be solid. Whereas girls, they have fluctuating value. They can be very high, they can feel very high value, they can feel very low value. But for the most part, they have little bursts of high value and much longer bursts of self-awareness where they're questioning or debating their value. Not that it's low, but they call it into question. So overall, we're of value, we're kind of like a holding pattern, and we can be very reassuring and challenging. So we had the question before, how do you reconcile being positive and negative at the same time? If you're a guy who's of value and who's got good stability and you want the people around you to be their best, be very appreciative of them. Tell them they look great, tell them they must have been working out, tell them they look really athletic, but at the same time, you can roll their eyes when they're letting themselves down. And that is inherently, if you're a man who encourages people to be their best, then you're also allowed to call them out when they're not being their best. Not in a mean way. You can kind of tease them a little bit when it's lighthearted, but it's a really nice balance between the two. So the more that you chat, the more that you want to do good things and share things with others, the more that you tell people that they're embarrassing because they can't keep up with your aspirations in life, you should really nicely automatically create a lot of arousal with that kind of inspiration effect that I talked about in terms of not controlling chicks. And then you're going to get arousal to the power of infinity. A really good way to think about it is this. If I, as a very capable, very experienced pickup guy, approach a couple, a guy and a girl together, and they're just pretty average, hot girl, very average guy, a guy who doesn't have a lot of self-confidence. He does have a whole quantity of emotional exchange with that girl, a strong quantity of emotional exchange that way outweighs the arousal that I've given her, okay? It might even be the case that I'm way more of value than what he is, or have that self-belief, but it would still take some time, a function of time, in order for me to outweigh that guy. Some guys, back in the days of the game, they would be like distinctly low value or feeling like really, really negative about themselves, and they would be so good at using a range of emotions and doing a manipulative game, they could trick a girl into bed with like hypnosis, NLP, sequences, Rohypnol or whatever. Okay, no, bad joke, not a good joke. But they would be able to like trick a girl up until a point, but then lose her. Other guys, they have like so much fucking value, they don't even barely need to say anything, that the girl can just project it. Like just because a guy does believe in himself, that's all it needs to be. And because she can like have this like anticipation in her own head about what he could be, anticipation, she can dream it and project onto him and be like, he could be the answer to my emotional questions. Just because you don't doubt yourself, try to impress the girl, try to keep her attention or anything like that. So I always thought of the attraction equation this way. Other ways that emotion, the full range of emotions, both positive and negative, are built in. If you have aspirations, then you also have personal boundaries. If there's things you want to do, then you're also allowed to say, no, don't hold me back. No, I'm busy. If you know how to say no, you'll take your nice personality and your constructive outlook on life, and you can say, hey, sorry, I'm not doing that. Hey, that's not for me. Hey, I don't agree with you. Just knowing how to say no is going to be the way that you're going to get a really nice balance between the positive and the negative. If you're too much positive, you're boring and predictable. If you're too much negative, macho, grumpy, or whatever, if you don't know how to appreciate what's going on in front of you, you're going to be only negative, and that's going to be predictable. It's going to be low value one way or the other. So as you're pushing to grow in life and lead in life and bring others with you in life, it will automatically bring with congratulations unto others and challenge unto others, because you've got to be the guy going first, and it all starts to really naturally work. Of course, we're talking about natural game. Has anybody heard of Schrodinger's cat? Go for a little walk up the aisle. Do anyone know what Schrodinger's cat is? Only a few. Quantum physics. Attraction is quantum physics. Makes sense. It's a cat in a box. Schrodinger's cat, I don't really know anything about quantum physics, but I do know something about attraction. Schrodinger's cat, it's like if there's a cat in a box and there's a little bucket of poison. If the poison falls down, it breaks and the cat will be dead. But how do we know if the cat broke the poison? So it must be alive. So if you're looking at a box with a cat and an unbroken vial of poison at the starting point, is the cat dead or alive? It must be both. The point that I'm making is the minute that a girl knows that she doesn't like you or she does like you, it becomes all one type of emotion. The minute that you 100% commit to a girl or 100% withdraw from the girl, then it becomes all one type of emotion. So when you look at a chick, when you have true abundance, you should have a kind of a healthy skepticism, but also at the same time, a healthy excitement. The two have to go together. The minute that you decide that you really want that girl, that you're emotionally invested in her, and nobody else has a chance in your life, like a crush, repulsive as shit, boring and stifling and not good. If the girl doesn't know whether you like her or not, if you're very present in her reality and you're giving her mixed signals, she has unresolved tension. She's like, does he like me or not? What the fuck does this mean? She wants to know what's going to happen. So it's like the Schrodinger's cat. It's both things at the same time. As soon as you have a resolution, as soon as you open the box and see if the cat is alive, life goes on, end of story, end of chemistry, end of excitement, end of engagement. If the cat is dead, funeral, end of story. But as long as the box is closed, as long as you don't get that reveal of whether you like the chick or not, as long as you're not conclusive one way or the other, you remain engaging. What happens when you get married to a girl? Death do you part. There's no more stress on the relationship, and then things start to go in the direction of divorce. Not always. When there's children involved, there's a bigger thing to live for. But if you're married and there's no children involved or not planning to be, then there's no risk of the takeaway. I made a video about it before. When you get that perfect girl, I think I have a perfect girl. She's fucking mental. She brought her friend from Sweden to London so I could fuck the two of them together. Good girl, right? Unbelievable. And I find myself getting comfortable. Like, I'm going to marry her. I love her. And I do. But I'm like, no, Alex, no. You could still fuck more girls. Remember that idea. You still could. And the minute I let go of that, I'm like, girlfriend, you're the only one for me ever. I give everything else up. I'm just for you. Then it's going to become one emotion, one dimensional, and it's going to be kind of like concluded, given up, which sucks. So I'm still going to push the boundary to create the range of emotions, and I'm still going to look at and think about other chicks to a point to kind of entertain the thought and be like, no, girlfriend, I thought of other girls and I thought, no, I'm coming back to you again and again and again and again and again and again and again. This also happens with Tess. We'll talk about that with chicks in just a little bit later, actually. Last thing, just to get a kind of a reassurance in the science of dynamics. This was in the original attraction video, so let's do it all again. Delete all, start over. If you're a massive game geek, like what I am, this is how frame control kind of works. How it works. There's always one person reacting to the other person, then that person is reacting to them. And if you're causing others to react, you're stimulating them, you're arousing them, and they're becoming engaged in you. Self-amusement, as I showed you. But you're also kind of calibrating as you go. You've got what's called responsivity. Okay, you're being responsive. So when I make an initiative, I'll do it, not watch for the reaction, let the reaction be, and then I'll notice and I'll respond to what's going on in front of me. So it kind of looks like this. A range of emotions, a back and forth, a wavelength of two people vibing together. This is the theory of it. So you make an initiative, initiative. And it could be positive or negative. You never fucking know. Then you go down into the trough to see how it's reacted. Now the girl, where is she? What is initiative by you is stimulation to her. And then she's going to be in reaction. And she's going to try to respond. So, do this one. Stimulation and then reaction. Her reaction could be positive or negative, and how she's stimulated could be positive or negative either. Who the fuck knows? Nobody knows. In fact, it's going to make that a little bit thinner and a little bit more opaque. Cool. Then when she's responding at the same time as she's responding, she's reacting, I'm responding, okay? So I'm responding to find out what's going on, and then quickly forming my own next initiative, which could be positive or negative, because I'll kind of want to balance out my emotions in the interaction. So I'll make an initiative, I'll express myself again, and then she will react to that in some other form, right? So some other stimulation, positive or negative, which she'll then react to again, and the fucking cycle goes on. However, sometimes it can flip around, where you will be a kind of a jackass and then be reactive. You'll be like, oh shit, apologetic, I didn't mean to do that. And then all of a sudden she'll be quick to say something, and her initiative will start dominating the conversation, and you'll fall into a reactive frame. And that's when you basically lost the frame battle. Then you'll become fucking reactive. Where are we here? Reactive, that's a T. And then she can be responsive when she's kind of on top of you. And that can happen if the girl is, then she responds, if I can get the right fucking colors here. That can happen if the girl is more socially experienced than you. The frame can switch from one person owning the frame to the other, okay? But usually, because I never look at the girl, I never react. I'll do stuff, I'm like, yeah! I'll never react. I'll let her do her reaction. I'm like, okay, so where are we at with this? All right, cool, next one. Okay, so I'm kind of watching it out of my peripheral vision. And in our body language, we actually don't train our body on the girl that much. We kind of train it neutrally away so we don't get too caught up in analyzing her reactions. That being the case, watching her reactions, we then want to tilt our energy in different directions. Remember, you want to express a full range of emotions. Positive, negative, silly, serious. And if it's too silly, add some serious. If it's too positive, add some negative. Keep it balanced so the telemetry of the interaction is good. We'll talk about that a bit later. So I just spoke about attraction, but guess what? Attraction doesn't mean a lot at all. Girls are drawn to guys they're attracted to, in the same way that you're drawn to girls you're attracted to, but girls go home with and go into spaces of intimacy with guys they're comfortable with, not guys they're attracted to. Let me ask you, is it easier to be attractive or comfortable with a girl? It's comfortable. Easier to be comfortable. It takes less effort, less impressive, more down to earth, more relatable, and more imperfect. A girl is more comfortable with that, which all of you are, than actually being an attractive type of guy. Macho, nice car, perfect hair, perfect body. That's what she thinks by magazine standards is attractive. So, that being the case, cover your bases in terms of attraction, use a range of expressions, be a guy who's a good talker and a good listener, but make it easier for yourself and realize that when it comes to who she's going to be comfortable enough to walk home with at the end of the night, the end of the dinner party or the party or the club, it's going to be the guy who's like, I'm cool with him, he's cool, who she has zero defensiveness against. If you want to get laid more, if you want lots of chicks, if you want a girlfriend, if you want sexual abundance, be the guy who girls are comfortable to walk home with at the end of the night, okay? So you actually are allowed to do less and spend more time reassuring yourself in your own head that there's no reason why you're not enough, and by simply being of value, that full bucket of water, that she's going to be reacting to you and feeling that sense of power. Don't overpower her and intimidate her by being overly attractive. Another metaphor is, don't oversell yourself. Imagine you walk into a car dealership and you really want to buy a car, and the salesman oversells you, like over-attracts you to a car that you already wanted. The girl wants the guy, if she's single, if the screens are good, the girl wants the guy so you can actually do less. You've heard about quiet and attentive. When the girl goes into a quiet and attentive state, that's when she's becoming nervous and self-conscious and a little bit worried about how you think and feel about her. I was speaking to this girl in this stage of the interaction, and she wasn't into me at all. I'm like, I hope I don't fuck up. She's super fucking hot. She's extremely smart. She was a surgeon, studying to be a surgeon, almost finished, and she wasn't giving me a lot of feedback. So I need to stand there and not try to keep attracting her after it was being in the interaction for about 12 minutes. So what I had to do is just like chill the fuck out and let comfort build simply as a function of time, okay, by relaxing. So when you see this kind of body language, she's not actually actively doing a whole lot. She's just standing and chilling. I'm like telling my own story, a common, expression technique. And she is not rubbing up on my arm. She's not getting down on her knees, giving me head. She's not telling me to take her home, but she's not defensive either. So after you've been expressive early on in the set, then I want you to chill and don't search and micromanage and try to suck reactions out of the chick. And what does it look like? It looks like self-consciousness. It always blew my mind that gorgeous girls would spend their time with moronic guys. Morons, okay, as you've seen me do here in some of the videos. So before I was in the game, guys were self-destructive, drunk, idiot, immature, whatever. And the reason why girls are attracted to that, whereas in the olden days I tried to be perfect, serious, formal, to the point, I want you, do you want me? It takes the pressure off the girl and it makes her comfortable. And if the pressure's off, she can relax and be herself more. So you've got to deformalize the whole interaction. So that's like being goofy. A lot of the guys on the program, the guys who sign up for the 4 Week Natural, they are very serious. They want great things in their life. They're high achievers. So one of the drills that I give them sometime in the program is show vulnerability. How can you show vulnerability? I talk about, I used to have a drinking problem. Other guys say that they study too hard or they're trying to please their parents. I'm asking you to create a situation where the girl can emotionally contribute to you. I have like a bad drinking problem, as you can see. So I tried to find ways to not drink and save the money. So the only way that I could find to not drink is to like rent a car, because then you can't be drunk. And she certainly cannot emotionally contribute to you if you're too busy trying to be impressive and attractive. So show that you are enough, show that you're normal. Remember I told you all your game is the best, you're all totally normal, that's fine. And then show ways in which she can contribute to you. And very, 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 very importantly, acknowledge the ways that she contributes to you. Like, she helps you to relax. She helps you to slow down. She helps you to take the stress out, like de-stress. These are the things that I say. She helps you to appreciate who she is by being really cerebral and knowing how to speak for herself. Things like that. Not to say that I know that all of you want to get laid as quickly as possible. So when you get to a certain stage, it's patience and slowness that speeds up the interaction. So stop trying to attract the girl and start creating that comfort by being slow, showing a little bit of vulnerability and shutting the fuck up and just standing there like a big chunk of guy. That's it. Girls always say that, big chunk of guy. I want to spend time with you. She just wants to be near you, to feel that vibe and that emotional connection. And that being the case, when you're patient like that, she has a chance to accelerate the game by escalating on you, by chatting you up a little bit, by moving the interaction forward. The worst thing when it comes to guys incorrectly trying to attract chicks is the maitre d'. The maitre d' attitude. Laith, you were bad for this in the beginning. Cutting people off before they finished what they wanted to say, okay? Just a habit. A lot of guys have it as a habit. What that is, maitre d'. The maitre d' is the person who seats you at a table in a restaurant. And they come around in the middle of your conversation, like, is everything okay? Is everything okay here? Is everything okay? And you're in a conversation with a chick, and she's talking, and you're so quick to respond when she's speaking that you never take a simple moment to look as though you've digested and taken what she said seriously or meaningfully, to acknowledge it and either give her credit or, tease her on it, whatever it might be, to say cool or bullshit. But you're never taking a moment to relax and slow down, to appear and genuinely be taking what she's saying seriously, letting it actually make an impression on you. You'll all know situations in your own lives where you'll talk to somebody and they're too quick to talk after you've spoken. It's like they didn't even give a fuck what you had to say. They were too busy on their own agenda. And I'm sure they understand you, and I'm sure if you're guilty of it, doing it to chicks, being too quick to speak after the girl has spoken, I'm sure that you do understand what she's saying for the most part, but they don't feel that way. Remember a time when you were in a subordinate place in life where you felt like inferior or second class, and the people who are above you, your bosses, your big brothers, your parents, they didn't show that they understood you. Very, very likely, if you're doing too much attraction, you're not showing that the people who you're trying to lead or show a good time, you're not showing them that you appreciate their point of view. It's so fucking simple. If you're making a human-to-human connection instead of I'm a guy chasing pussy in a bar, then the girl is going to see you as a human who she can connect with and go home with, and sex can be a part of the interaction, not the pinnacle of the interaction. Then all of a sudden, you're going to break all these plateaus. It's so fucking simple. Shut the fuck up for a moment after the girl has spoken, let it sink in, and say, good. Or, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, acknowledge or disacknowledge. There are times, of course, when you want to tease the girl, rev her up and fuck around. And in that case, clearly cut her off. Talk over the top of her, call her out, have a yelling match. That's totally fine as well. But one problem, the best way to kind of like defy that connection and try to control her is by talking too quickly after she spoke.
But Sweden is expensive. Like
New York and London is expensive.
A preview into the way that we're going to attract girls in the game and run the interactions is like this. Go up and show that you can express a full range of emotions. Physical, verbal, engage test, banter, chemistry, tension, pauses, and all that good stuff. Then you're actually going to withdraw a lot of verbal energy, and you're going to kind of withdraw for gaming them and spend time with them and near them so that they get familiar with your presence, familiarity with your presence. And with that, you're going to release their feelings of defensiveness that they usually have towards new guys who usually simply want to fuck them. And so by being near them, they're going to be anything but defensive. In your own mind, I want you to equate attempts at attraction to them becoming defensive. If you try to attract a girl, if you're a try-hard, they're going to be defensive, defensive, defensive. Maybe they want to fuck you. Maybe they're attracted to your body, your personality, or your status. Maybe they think that's cool. Maybe they want to brag to their friends about it. But they certainly won't act on it if they're feeling defensive, if you're not letting the girl emotionally contribute to the conversation. If you're a person who's efficient and effective and you want to get on with it, you've got to realize that it's a two-way street, that the girl has to contribute as well. And if she doesn't, she's not just going to basically enslave herself to you and say yes to anything.